What's up, good people? David Talp here from nextlevelguitar.com, and I was just doing a little arpeggio exercise, and I was getting a lot of requests to do another lesson on an arpeggio or an arpeggio pattern or something to get you playing arpeggios quickly. And I thought I would just bring you this little vignette of a lesson, and I hope this helps. And what I want to show you today is a major arpeggio. Okay, this arpeggio is just basically a major arpeggio built off a major chord. It's just a root, third, and fifth, and then root, third, and fifth, the three notes that make up a major chord, right? Like a C major chord is made up of a root, a third, and a fifth, or the first note, third note, and fifth note in the C major scale. Remember, all music theory goes back to the major scale. So if we're playing a C major chord, first note in a C major scale, we could play that C major scale anywhere, is a C. Remember that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. First note's a C. Third note is an E, right? And the fifth note's a G. So in a C major chord, you have a C, the root, the third an E, and a fifth G. And those notes make up the chord. Here's our C note, our E note, and then our open G, and then we're just playing the C again, and an E again. So we're just taking the root, third, and the fifth to play a major chord, and we're going to do the same thing by playing a major arpeggio, root, third, and fifth. Now you could play that root, third, and fifth all over the neck, but I want to show it to you where you can kind of grab it fast. That's the one thing about arpeggio playing, is you have to be able to kind of know where they're at to grab them fast. And the other thing is eventually, like I was just in the exercise playing the arpeggio all the way up, all the way back, all the way up, all the way back. You know, when you're playing a lead, you're going to want to mix the arpeggio in with your scales and in with your modes. You're not going to, that's like playing a scale all the way down and all the way up. It'll sound kind of sterile. So you want to kind of mix it in. But the first thing is you got to kind of have a good arsenal of different arpeggios, and a major one is nice because it doesn't have a lot of intervals in it over three. You can play it over so many different kinds of major chords. So let me show you how to play this arpeggio, and let's just do it in the middle of the neck here. We're going to do it in the key of F, okay? Now we're going to play a root, a third, and a fifth, one note at a time in the key of F. So like an F chord is made up of an F. Let's play an F major scale. The first note is F, the third note is your A, and your fifth note is your C. F, A, C. That's what makes an F chord, right? Here's your F note, here's your C note, and then here's your A note. Same thing with the arpeggio. We're going to play an F note, an A note, and a C note. So let's go in on a tight shot of the neck and on my hand, and I'll show you this arpeggio real easy how you can play this, okay? Now, we're not going to play the low E string, so let's just concentrate on this major arpeggio shape from this F note right here on the 8th fret of the A string. And here's the shape. I'll do it slow and then I'll go back and explain it. So we're going to play the F note, which is at the 8th fret on the A string. Then play the A note, the third, which is on the 7th fret of the D string. And then the C note is on the 5th fret of the G string. Playing one note per string so far. And there's your arpeggio. Root, third, fifth. But now we have to, let's repeat those notes. Let's grab the F again on the 6th fret of the B string, the A on the 5th fret of the high E string, and then let's play the C on the 8th fret of the high E string. So keep one finger per fret in this arpeggio shape. It's really nice. One finger per fret, and you'll always know the root note. You can grab it quick by sliding your pinky up to the note on the A string and playing this shape. Here it is slow. F, I'll get my other fingers out of the way. A, C, F, A, C. Pinky on the 8th fret of the A string. Use your third finger on the D string, 7th fret. First finger on the G string, 5th fret. Then go back to the F note, use your second finger. It's important to use this fingering. It makes it very easy, especially if you want to try to sweep it. Second finger on the B string on the 6th fret, and then your first finger on the 5th fret on the high E string, and then pinky or 4th finger. Don't try to grab it with your 3rd finger. Use that pinky. Pinky, don't eliminate 1/4 of your arsenal of destruction by not using your pinky. Use it. Pinky on that C note, 8th fret high E string. And I want you to just practice that back and forth. That's a major arpeggio in the key of F because F is our root note. And we're playing the 3 notes that make up an F major chord. Root, 3rd, 5th, root, 3rd, 5th. That's a good arpeggio to sweep too, because 1 finger per fret, you don't have to move around where you're going to get that sweeping motion. Kind of cool. So just practice that. Real slow at first, and you can see how that works over an F chord. Okay? Now, if you want to change keys, like let's say you want to play this in G, just move that root note where you're catching it with the pinky on the A string up to G, which is at the 10th fret on the A string. And play the same shape. Keep the shape the same. But notice now you're playing different notes, same shape. Just don't memorize the shape. You want to learn the notes. G major chord is a G, root, your 3rd, which is the B, and the 5th, which is a D. G, B, D. That's your major arpeggio in G. If you want to play it in E, move your pinky to the E note, 7th fret on the A string. You could hear the majorness to that arpeggio, the very kind of happy major sound. So try it, and then when you get good at it, just slide it around the practice, or move it up 1 fret at a time. So just kind of practice it, moving it up and down the neck, and get it nice and clean. And it's a really fun arpeggio because you can grab it so fast with that pinky. So then mix it in. Once you get good at that arpeggio, kind of mix it in with your scales. For instance, if we go back to G, I'm at my pinky at the G note, 10th fret. You know this major scale. Let's play the first 3 notes of the arpeggio, root, 3rd, 5th, and now play the G major scale. So you get this kind of sound. See, the arpeggio is nice because you're not playing all the notes. You're skipping the 2nd and the 4th, 1, 3, 5, and then play part of the scale.